In 2025, an overwhelming theme around AI was around, don't worry, you're not going to lose your jobs. You're not going to lose your jobs. You just got to get in there, try it out, and get moving with it. And organizations listened. They invested, they piloted, they experimented. Oh boy, did they. So what happened?
Well, Stacy, MIT's Project Nanda gave us the answer to that. So they conducted a research across 300 plus open disclose AI initiatives. They interviewed 52 organizations in the first half of 2025. The number, somewhere between $30 to $40 billion invested in enterprise AI. The result, only 5% of the organizations saw significant measurable impact on P&L. The other 95% saw nothing.
So what separated the 5%? What actually extracted value for everyone?
Great question. So the tendency is to think that the 5% had better technology, they had better talent, or they have more budget. However, the research shows something different. The actual the actual difference here was the approach. So, and specifically how these organizations included AI into their workflows versus bolting AI into existing processes, right? And we saw happen this across 3 domains: content, media, and partner engagement.
So let's start with content, because the adoption numbers are staggering. Gartner reports that nearly a third of marketing content today is created with AI as a collaborator, with humans shaping, refining, and directing the final results. That's a 15 times increase in 3 years. But here's the problem. Forrester found that 65% of the content goes unused. Organizations ended 2025 with what analysts called overwhelming volumes of content that lack cohesion, consistency, and strategic alignment. The industry even coined a term for it.
Generic sludge.
Exactly. AI-generated content that lacks local context, and actually it alienates customers. And if 30% of the content is already being created with AI in the mix, the question isn't if we use it, it's how intentionally we use it.
Yeah, and here's the key insight. When the cost of content creation goes down, the cost of compliance goes up. You can generate 1,000 assets overnight, but who is going to be validating that those assets meet brand guidelines? Who is going to be checking for regulatory requirements? Who is ensuring that the local dealer is not posting something that is going to create liability? The 5% understood that compromise, and they just didn't deploy AI content creators. They actually rebuild their content operations with governance at the center.
So what you're saying is that speed without structure creates chaos.
Exactly.
The companies that win, this 5%, don't just give everyone AI tools. They define what AI could be used for, creating templates, building approval workflows. They redesign the system, not just the tools.
Correct.
So let's talk media execution, because something fundamentally shifted this last year. AI isn't just creating content, as we heard from Mick earlier. It's influencing how buyers discover it. We're seeing measurable traffic coming from AI recommendations, and those visitors are spending significantly more time on site. Why? Because relevance was filtered before they even clicked. The 5% stopped optimizing for search rankings and started optimizing to be the source that AI cites.
And that's why digital presence matters more than ever. But it has to be the right presence. Research shows higher engagement when the content is localized versus generic content. So think about what that means for brand to local. A generic AI is going to create an ad for a car. A context-aware AI is going to create an ad referencing the local school football game and the specific inventory in the dealer's lot. So the 5% understood that the value of AI and brand to local is not volume, is actually context delivery at scale.
So for distributed brands, the advantage isn't volume, it's relevance at scale. Content that reflects local inventory, local events, local customers. The question isn't, are we using AI? It's, are we using it to drive contextual relevance?
Exactly.
So which leads us to partner engagement. And this is where distributed brands face the highest stakes and where it gets complicated. Cox Automotive surveyed dealers in 2025. They said that they believe AI matters. 81% of them say it's critical for long-term success. But 3/4 of them are worried about accuracy. And 2/3 say they want more training before they lean in. And honestly, that makes sense because in 2025, every platform suddenly became AI-powered. Your CRM has AI, your DMS has AI, your ad platform has AI, your email and your website chat widgets all have AI. And so when everything claims to be intelligent, it's hard to know what to trust.
Yeah, exactly. And behind that lack of trust, real fear. So partners are asking, are these tools here to help me or here to replace me? And actually what moves the needle is workflow automation that removes friction. Our research shows that partners fail to use call fun simply because it's time-consuming and sometimes the process is very complex, right? So AI automation for their claim to reimbursement process that proactively suggests fund usage before expiration and instantly validates the asset and compliance, then that brings immediate value to the partner, P&L. So the 5% understood this reality, and it's not about AI adoption, it's about removing friction for their partner.
So adoption doesn't happen because something's AI-powered. It happens when someone's Tuesday gets easier. Less friction, more reimbursement, faster reimbursement, fewer compliance surprises. It's what builds trust.
You got it.
So if you're building or buying a platform, what should you look for?
So you need to look for 3 things. So first thing is automation of jobs, not tasks. If you are automating a resized image, that's going to give you a 10 to 20% efficiency. When you automate the entire campaign life cycle, that yields exponential efficiency. The second thing is compliance or governance as a foundation, not as an afterthought. For industries that are highly regulated like financial services, insurance, automotive, this is not an option. You need systems that prevent off-brand content at the source. And lastly, you need to measure success based on the partner outcomes, not engagement, not number of features, but things like number of campaigns activated, fund usage, or revenue attribution.
Okay. So you all know that I live in learning and development. So I can't let us go without a little bit of an on-the-spot homework assignment. So if you pull out your notebooks real fast or your cameras, take a picture of this slide because the takeaway I want to leave you with is to ask yourself these 3 questions. Are our systems actually connected or just AI labeled? Are we measuring real business impact or activity? And are we making life easier for our partners or more complicated? So if you can confidently answer those 3 questions, you're probably closer to the 5% than you think. If you can't, don't worry, it's not failure, it becomes your roadmap.